The tantrum is an emotional state, the intense expression of an emotion, that usually appears when the child begins to have ideas different from those of adults. How do we accompany them? We will share 7 key points to keep in mind. First, identify our emotions. Yes, things happen to us too. We also get upset, maybe we're tired, with worries, and it also upsets us or affects us the internal emotions of our children, especially if we are exposed to the gaze of others, who observe how our child screams, cries, or kicks. So, we have to pause and identify how I feel. I give it a place in my mind, and put the focus back on what is happening to my kid, who needs me, because he still does not know how to get out of that state alone. Try to understand what is happening to him, what caused such an intense emotion. Take into account his needs and his possibilities. 3. The goal is to give space to that emotion. Something very common is to look for everything to end quickly, especially if it is unpleasant. We want him to stop crying, to calm down. Usually, if a child is angry, and we ask them to calm down, it makes them even angrier. So let's seek to be available, communicate with words and gestures or distance, closeness, with our body, that we're there, that we understand that something is happening, and that we're there to take care of them. 4. It's good to go down to their level, or sit close. Some connect with the look, others do not want to look at us. Let's not ask them to look us in the eye. Some accept love, hugs, our voice. We will discover what helps them find calm. The goal is to give space to that emotion but find calm. 5. If you talk about what happened, don't let it be a lecture. Let them be short, concise and genuine words. 6. If during the episode the kid broke something, threw something, hurt someone with his words or behavior, we look together for a way to repair it. We don't give directions, clean the floor, apologize, but we accompany the situation and their way to solve it. For example, while you were angry you threw all this away and we have to fix it, how can we do it? 7. Observe our kid as he is, not as we would like him to be, or what we would like him to do. Observing him from what he is, what he can do and what he needs, will allow us to accompany him from real and possible perspectives. What should we avoid? React from our emotions, from what affects us. Punish, make him think, take away his favorite toy, or give a prize if he does what we ask. Ignore, mistreat, yell, threaten, devalue their emotions and needs. Physical punishment. Although it is legally prohibited, this continues to happen, and those who do it justify themselves by saying they hit me as a kid, and it didn't go wrong. They're so damaged that they're not able to identify that they're naturalizing violence and continue to spread it to new generations. To finish, we will answer 2 key questions. Why is it not good to let a child cry? And why is it not good to punish them? Why is it not good to let a child cry? We still hear let him cry, he'll get over it, that's how he'll learn. I'll tell you why this hurts. When a baby or a small child begins to cry desperately, and no one helps him find calm, a chemical and hormonal flow floods his brain. As the body is not able to resist this collapse for a long time, a secretion of substances is activated to compensate for this imbalance and help the alarm system decrease. This causes the child to fall asleep or vomit. They don't do it in a controlled way. They don't want to make a scene. Their body is reacting to a very high level of stress and tries to work it out so they don't collapse. This produces learning in the child. My needs do not matter, nobody is going to be able to help me, and nobody cares about me. As a consequence, there will be a low self-esteem, emotional disconnection. Some children will give up and stop demonstrating it because they know that no one will help them. This can cause frustration, anxiety, and loneliness. The type of bond with adults will be one of distrust, and they will not learn to trust themselves either. This will limit them in exploring the world and learning. Or, it may happen that they inhabit the world and the bonds in a reactive, violent, anxious way. Why is punishing not appropriate? It doesn't take into account the emotions, needs, and possibilities of children. It generates bonds of mistrust and insecurity. There is no reference to the world. One acts out of fear. It affects self-esteem, self-love, to trust in their own abilities. It generates anger, rage, which is suppressed, and then explodes and does a lot of damage. It doesn't build healthy tools to respond to conflicts in life. I hope that with this tour, you have been able to understand the processes that are set in motion in the development of our children, and that they're necessary to build limits and accompany them through them and resolving tantrums. Let us remember that it is not the same to communicate norms and rules as to accompany their construction until they're integrated and they make them their own. It's not the same to take charge of what happens to us and affects us than to unload all our emotions with those who need us to develop in a healthy way. And understand the importance of how we accompany them in their growth.